The best choice I have made in my life was to befriend somebody who didn't trust the COVID-19 vaccine. It wasn't on those grounds we became friends. We lived in the same apartment complex. When we ran into a discussion about vaccination, we tried to understand each other. I realized that I had a lot of prejudice regarding those who didn't want to vaccinate, that maybe there needed to be more accessible information about the process of creating the vaccine to still people's fear, that it was really about fear. She understood my perspective, that I see it as a duty to others. It was productive because we set the intention to try and understand each other. Understanding, listening, it's the elephant in the room. Today, I want to redefine understanding to how it is an object which we need to give to receive, how it is not to accept another belief, but to see where it comes from, and how it is a cornerstone, if not the center of open-mindedness. A thing in high demand. When I was younger, I thought that people understanding my and my peers' beliefs would change the world, make it idyllic. All the companies would go bankrupt and everyone would be biking to their jobs. Boys would be boys, would not lead in their mouth, and my mom would feel unafraid to raise a girl. But my mom is afraid, and our planet is dying. I could never comprehend why it wasn't given to us, understanding. But today, I think I do. Understanding and listening. It's the elephant in the room. It's something that we need to give to receive. And there is nothing I want to do less, but need to do more than offer to understand those who oppose me. As much as I want to scream at those who do my future wrong, they will scream at me back if I do so. As much as I don't want to listen to those who do my future wrong, they might listen to me if I do so. And that contributes to change. It's a bold claim that we need to understand those who oppose us, but I am sure you will agree with me. I don't have a degree from an Ivy League, let alone when I graduated high school yet. But today I'm speaking to you about human connection and emotions, about fear and about vulnerability. I think that 17 years in this world counts as a degree on this. We all know these patterns very well. We know, but what about doing, actively acting on this principle? We try, many of us, but it is so incredibly hard. It would be naive of me to speak here today and say, just try to understand somebody who fundamentally opposes you. Let's change the world. Engaging in conversation with people who disagree with you, it is tiresome. It is engaging, infuriating. It is something that is incredibly hard. Engaging in conversation with people who agree with you is uplifting. It puts you at ease and it gives you hope. And as good as that also can be, it's where we run into the issue. My school is full of people who are identical politically to me. I've never felt so happy and at ease as I do here, but also never done as little change in the world. Not that there isn't strength and hope and coming together, but we tend to engage in conversation with the latter, with the people who agree with us. We don't have to try to understand, we already do, and we get understood for the same reason. Why choose fury and anger over that? Why choose hard conversations? I do this. I choose the latter. I converse with people with similar beliefs, and I'm sure you do too, actually. I'm sure we all do, because this world is incredibly polarized. We tend to not engage over these borders because it is draining, and that is understandable. If I was conservative, I would speak to other conservatives, monarchist to monarchist and anarchist to anarchist. I urge you today to step out of this. I don't urge you to speak with someone who fundamentally opposes your existence. The world is terrible, and there are people who hold beliefs that really should not be engaged with. But that is a sliver of people. A sliver. Something I think we forget often is how we let that sliver overrule all of those other people who don't agree with us. The ones where we have a chance to gain respect, understanding, and listening back if we lend it. That contributes to change. The world is becoming more polarized than ever. Not they, them, the US, the issue out there. We are part of a more polarized world. There are two perceptions of right and wrong, and in many contexts, we are on one of the sides. We villainize the people on the other side. I do, and most do. I make villains, and I am too made a villain. Polarization is like standing on two opposite sides of a flood, screaming to try and get to each other. Well, there's a flood in between. Nobody is gonna hear each other. Now I'm going to say something incredibly cheesy, so brace yourself. We need to build bridges. How do we build these bridges? I think a fundamental thing is being up for challenging if you're right, even if you are secure that you are. The point that I am making is that these conversations are vital for change, for the right change, which for me, for example, means saving the climate. But there are so many people who believe something else is the right change. I believe that climate change is a big threat and that I am right in that we need to do something. But isn't it hostile if I engage in conversation with somebody convinced there is no such thing as climate change, coming in with the mindset, I'm right, but I will try to listen to you so that you will understand me. There's a piece missing. If I am asking somebody who is fully convinced of a truth to subscribe to mine instead because it is right, I can spoil it for you. We won't like each other. I've fallen into this trap, and I actually ended up being wrong too. Me and a few friends were waiting for a bus to get back from a vacation home. It was the only one coming in an hour, and we were practically in the middle of nowhere. A friend turns to me and asks, "Are you sure we shouldn't be on the other side of the road?" The rest of us confidently respond that she does not need to worry, and that we are indeed on the right side of the road. We gave her our arguments as to why to still her mind and passed over her attempts to convince us. A bit later, the bus passed on the other side of the road. In other words, you cannot trust that you are right if your belief can't be challenged. If I would have kept that in mind in that discussion with the bus, I don't think we would have missed it. You do choose where this extends to you. If you are personally connected to an issue, it can feel like an insult to give up being right in order for somebody else to maybe understand. But in many contexts, I think we should be up for letting others challenge our beliefs. Because if we want to challenge theirs, we have to give them that we can change our mind. In the end, it comes down to treat people the way you want to be treated. Now, to my last point. If it is that simple that a 17-year-old could explain it, why aren't we all doing this, engaging in conversation like this? I know I am not all the time. A study by a group of researchers found that people had more empathy for those in their in-group, people they identified with based on different factors like belief. Interestingly, they also found that people had less or no empathy for those in their out-groups, those they didn't identify with. Some findings have even shown that male football players felt pressure when they saw members of the opposing team being harmed. Now, an example of in-groups and out-groups can be different football teams, but it might as well be Republicans and Democrats. People on one side of the flood and the other. We tend to do this. We tend to engage with these people that we agree with. Do we want this? Do we want this division? Do we want to drift apart? Even if we are risking all that change we want to make. I know I really, really don't. And truth be told, I value open-mindedness more than most political beliefs. That is why I am trying to do better. You are welcome to join me. Because change in this manner is not a snap of the fingers, it's constant reflection, it's a constant attempt to be open-minded. It's easy to hide under the comfortable conviction that we are all perfectly open-minded, but usually it's not the case. Thank you.